Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the December 16th, 2025 Suwannee County Board of County Commissioner meeting. This time I'd like to ask Commissioner Hale to give the invocation and Commissioner Mobley to do the pledge if you can stand.
Lord, we thank you for this day. Thank you for the opportunity to get together to do work for our community. Lord, we pray that you'll be with those that are in need, the ones that call upon you, Lord. And Lord, most of all, we pray that you'll be with those that don't know they should be calling upon you and looking for you for healing and strength and forgiveness, Lord. Lord, we pray that each and every one of us will remember what the true reason of this season is, and it's your Son, Jesus Christ. Lord, protect us, guide us, get everyone home safely. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And this time I have item number 1, approval of the minutes from the December 2nd, 2025 regular board meeting and the December 3rd, 2025 special call meeting. Is there any changes, discussion, or do I have a motion to approve?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir, Mr.
I'm sorry, I usually don't speak up in these, but on page 7 of the December 3rd minutes, it says County Attorney Morrison expressed for the record the dominance and superiority of the University of Florida Gators over the Florida State University Seminoles this year. For the record, I said the Mike Norvell-led Florida State University Seminoles this year. So the record should accurately reflect what was said, Mr. Chairman.
I didn't recall that.
Mike Norvell.
Does that mean we have to change it if I didn't hear it?
There does need to be a motion, but
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Woods over here is huffing and puffing
What's she saying?
about that change.
You don't want to make it?
I don't even know what it means.
That's pretty cute.
I offer a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Commissioner Hale,
Second.
second by Commissioner Land. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
to change or not?
Public concerns and comments. Danielle Herb, am I saying that right? Yeah. If you will, just come to the podium, give your name and address for the record, please.
Hi there. My name is Danielle Herb. My address is 16590 County Road 136 West, Live Oak, Florida 32060. Kind of why we're here is we are a dog rescue and boarding facility in Suwannee County. We have stepped up to help the city because we know that there is a huge issue with the tree falling on the city animal control. Now, this has caused them to close completely. Now, there is not a stopping of these dogs running around. There's not a stopping of the calls coming in. So we're trying to figure out how we can all work together, whether it's temporary housing with us, the county, how we can help with volunteers, what we can do, because we are a very small rescue in the amount of calls we are getting daily coming in from Lake City Humane Society, North Florida Animal Rescue, Suwannee County, Live Oak. All of them are sending dogs to us. We are a small facility that can house only 30 dogs for rescue at a time. We are maxed out, and we are trying to find a way to work together and figure out a solution to be able to stop these dogs from running the road, whether that's temporary housing at the ranch, temporary housing at the county, and we help some type of solution here, because the dogs don't just stop because the city's closed. And how long are we talking on reopening that, and we're still dealing with all of these calls coming in, and we're finally getting some fosters, we're finally getting some adoptions, but we can only do so much. And now we have an issue with cats too, that now that the city's closed, Suwannee County's not taking in anything because they say they're full. So the rescue ranch is doing everything they can for both Suwannee County and Columbia County. And now we're trying to step up for both dogs and cats. The issue we're having is we have no grants, no funding. We are funded strictly off of our events that we throw in this area, which means our horror train and or our terror train and horror maze that we did, our Nerf battles that we throw. All of these things are what feed our dogs, and we do not buy the cheap stuff. They are taken very well care of. They play, they swim in the pool. And no, I'm not complaining by any means, and this is not faulting anyone. It is basically saying we are struggling, not financially, but the issue of being able to house more. Our income for our boarding feeds our dogs. So we don't need the money as much as, and yes, if we take in a large number, then of course we would have to figure that out. But how can we work together to create this temporary housing until they're back open? You know, what can we all do? Can we work with some of our juveniles that need community service and we send up temporary housing at the ranch and they come and help clean? There's got to be some way that we can't just close. These animals don't just stop. They're not just done. You can't say no to every one of them. And I don't really see anybody else stepping up here. We pulled the last 5 dogs from the city. I transported a mom and puppies all the way down to Tampa Bay Humane Society because nobody else was. And I'm not complaining. This is what I do. This is what I love. But how can we work together? And what do you guys, if there are any ideas that we can solve this problem somehow? Because eventually, next spring, there will be puppies and kittens everywhere. Let's talk about breeding that's going to happen, because now there's nobody pulling these dogs. We're not spaying and neutering them. We're not pulling the cats. So we're just going to keep climbing with numbers, and there's no way I can beat the odds. So it's kind of a...
Well, are these just strays, or what are we dealing with here?
So a lot of them are strays, owner surrenders. People are finding dumps, injured animals. We had one come in with a gunshot wound. All of these things that are happening that we're still getting the calls for. Luckily, we had Leon County step up and take 2 dogs from us so that we weren't stuck dealing with the medical bills of a dog that had been shot. So
give me some ideas of what you're talking about. I mean, I know we got the sheriff's, that handles our animal control.
So
and as the city said, how long they're going to be out of commission?
The last I heard, it was around her maternity leave. So we're talking April. This isn't short-term closure. This is a big deal. So we're getting 15 to 20 calls and messages on our Facebook a day. That's puppies. We've got a mama dog and puppies up in town that a homeless guy has that we transported food to them. So, I mean, we have a stockpile of food, and we're willing to help.
You just need housing? I mean, I'm trying to get to what
housing,
you need. So is that like pens?
And however we can work together to get the people to clean them. So whether that's we can send out some people that need community service, or we have inmates, or the city employee that's working there right now that's not cleaning kennels. I don't know what the answer is, but I'm trying to come up here and talk to you guys to figure out how we can move forward with this in a positive way. There's no guilt, shame, any of that. It's just let's do this together.
Asking for
We do need funding for the temporary housing. It's not that it's just going to, happen. And if we're taking, I'm in the other half of Doggy Doo Ranch and Doggy Rescue Ranch. Sorry if I'm speaking out of turn. But there is a...
Could you, just for the record, you have to come up here to the podium and give your name and address, please, ma'am.
The reason why she's saying we need funding is if we're taking in dogs higher than our quantity of 30 that we plan to feed and we plan to house, then we do need some type of help with the electricity and that type of stuff. And if we're paying somebody to come in and clean, that's more of where our funding would need to come in, our vet care for those dogs that aren't under our 30 that we know that we can house safely and care for. Correct?
Yes. So my name is Marianne, Marianne Smith, and my address is 16516 County Road 136, Live Oak, Florida 32060. So I am the other half of Doggy Dude Ranch and Doggy Rescue Ranch, and the numbers gal behind the scenes to sit there and take on any more dogs than we have the capacity to. If we're taking on for the city or we're taking on for the county, which happens, we get phone calls every day. we're going to need some capital along with, it could be per dog that we take in, could be $100 a dog. But these kennels that are going to need the temporary housing, we don't have them. So if they
But
can
they have
supply
them at the city.
Let me stop you there. I mean,
No.
I know it's a big problem, but we can't sit here and discuss this all night. So,
Yes, sir.
and I already know where you're coming from, but we fund the sheriff
Yes.
for theirs. Does the city offer? Have you talked to the city? Have you?
The city, the reason we came to the county first is because we don't have the manpower to do this. It would be easier for y'all to set up out at the county and y'all do this. We're trying to figure out how we can help.
Well,
Versus us do it in a private place that has no grants, no government funding, and
is all these animals adoptable or
90%, yes, sir.
So what happens with the rest? Are you euthanizing them?
No,
What?
we have, I think, 3 lifers right now that will stay at the ranch. And they're not going anywhere, and we make our
Well, I
money.
mean, I know this whole animal thing's a problem. I get the phone calls all the time. I
Yes,
get
sir.
it. But unfortunately, there's only so much funding that we
I
can
don't think
do.
it's funding that's the issue. I don't think I need a dime other than maybe a little bit for electricity. I think if you guys could bring some kennels out from the city, talk to them, and help us take care of them, that is where our cost would
But
go.
have you been to the city and asked them for that yet?
I haven't, because I just took 5 dogs from them and they weren't willing to do anything but give me supplies for them. They never even talked about setting up something temporary.
I get it. Do they have anything temporary?
No, sir, they don't. That's us right now.
So they don't have any temporary
No, sir.
cages or anything they can offer you?
They have temporary cages they could put out there. Yes, sir.
Well, that's
they have
what
a
I'm
few of
asking.
those.
Did you ask them if you
We
could use them?
talked about it, but nothing's been done or said yet, and this was the first opportunity we had to talk to somebody.
Okay.
So if I'm wasting your time, I apologize, but we're just trying to get the word out and talk to people about what we can do.
Mr.
Well,
Chairman, if I
yeah,
may,
Yes, sir.
probably, and I don't mean to derail the conversation, we're going to be real limited as to what we can do in terms of providing county space for liability reasons. I think everybody understands that. So I think probably what would be easiest, because nothing's going to get solved tonight, if you want to be in contact with Mr. Furry and Mr. Sessions, and if there's some kind of solution that can help, I don't mind taking part in that to the extent we can do that, but a solution's not going to be met through it.
Yeah.
But it's going to have to be dealt with at the highest of administrative levels.
And Mr. Sessions, I was just texting him while you were talking, and he said he has some sort of situation worked out with a rescue in West Florida as well, and I don't know what that is, but I think he's on it, and we can communicate with him and see. I don't know if we have any, I'm asking, I'm looking
Okay,
at Heather,
so
I don't know
then
if we have
who-
anything left over from the storms or not. I doubt it.
But either way, I think if you wanted to take that to the administrator
That's-
and
Yeah,
then.
we'll work
Of course, we just
Yeah.
needed somewhere to start. And then my thing is if we do have somewhere else set up that you're relying on, we need that information so we can start forwarding these calls, because I can't keep saying no. I can't keep telling them there's nothing out there. That is absolutely crazy that we can't figure out something temporarily. So I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for
And
coming.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
Thanks for
it.
coming
Thank you
by.
for coming.
Thank you. Mr. Steve Fontana.
Yes, I handed out Steve Fontana, 21181 144th Street, Live Oak. And I handed out a bunch of cards. I ran out. I'm sorry if you didn't get one. And it is the Christ the King political party member card. And on the back, we define what that is. And the premise is, Jesus coming spoke to them, all power is given to me in heaven and earth. When he says all, that means all. That means he is king over Suwannee County. That means he's king over the United States. That means he's king even over the Constitution. And that when he said this, that was then, and it still is today. So what I'm asking people to do is this party, it's a spiritual political party, and it's more like a movement party. There's been other movement parties in the past. Some have been taken over. But this one, it needs to be a political movement spiritual party, because Christ is already in office. He is king, and nobody's going to dethrone him. So part of the things that we have here are Christ the King political party is a spiritual political party with its members being under Jesus the King. I also had in there at one point, we abbreviated that there really is no hierarchy other than there's us and then there's the King. To join, you must recognize Christ is King of heaven and earth and strive to live accordingly. Christ the King political party does not take donations. Members donate and vote as good stewards of Christ. To run as a candidate of this party, you must publicly acknowledge that Jesus is King and pledge to govern under his authority. Now, some would say that, hey, that violates the separation of church and state. Church and state separation of church and state is not in the United States Constitution. It's called the Establishment Clause. And what it says is the U.S. government cannot establish a church. And that's true because Jesus established a church. The government can't do it. However, you cannot separate church and state because Jesus is king, which is state, and Jesus is the head of the church, which is the church. So it's a misnomer to say that there is any separation between church and state. And I just, if you want, you could sign the card, be a member, or just be a member in your heart. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you. Mr. Keith Broders.
Keith Broders, 970 Southwest Pine Mountain Road, Lake City, Florida. What I'd like to talk to you today about is today is December the 16th. Well, yesterday was a very important day in our history. That was the day that the Bill of Rights was ratified on December the 15th of 1791. For your knowledge, I don't think probably a lot of you know this, but initially the Congress voted, 2/3 of the members of the Senate and 2/3 of the members of the House voted to submit to the states 12 proposed amendments. Those 12 amendments were proposed to the states, and on December the 15th of 1791, 10 of the 12 amendments were approved by the states. The First Amendment was not approved. The Second Amendment was not approved. Those two amendments are now still, well, they were still pending. Today, we can still go back and ratify the originally proposed First Amendment. The originally proposed First Amendment had to do with apportionment in the House of Representatives. It was the intent of our founding fathers to have the states represented in a House. The people would be represented in a House of Representatives would be based on proportional representation. What that meant was that if a state had twice as many people, they would be entitled to twice as many representatives. This has to do with a ratio. Well, this was the originally proposed First Amendment, and it fell one vote short. And I think it has right now 11 states, I believe, have already approved that amendment. And if the state legislature of Florida and 26 other states legislatures got together and voted to ratify that amendment, it would become the law of the land. And in that amendment, it basically says that every state is entitled to one representative, and that no state will have more than one representative for every 50,000 people. Well, right now, our Congress has representation which is disproportional. The districts are not the same size. There is not a ratio. Our House of Representatives is unconstitutionally apportioned. And frankly, I think that we need to do something about it. In the case of Wyoming, they have 576,000 people in the state, and they have one representative in Congress. Well, if we were equally apportioned, we would have one representative for every 576,000 people, just like Wyoming. And if we did, we would have 36 congressional districts instead of only 28. We are being shortchanged by 8 electoral votes, and we're having over 200,000 people in each of our 28 districts are not even being counted. What is this idea that we're supposed to have one person, one vote? That isn't the case. So anyway, I think it's very important that we try to get our Congress apportioned properly. In 1929, Congress passed a statute, not a law, a statute. That's one thing you need to realize, is that rules, regulations, codes, ordinances, and statutes are not laws. They act as laws, they pretend to be laws or masquerade as laws, but laws are natural. And frankly, we need to fix this problem. And frankly, all we have to do is get Congress to repeal the Permanent Apportionment Act and stop having a Congress with 435 seats. We need to increase the seats as the population increases. In the state of Florida, we also have an apportionment problem. In 1961, Florida had 96 representatives in the state legislature. 96. Well, today we have 120 representatives, and they represent. One representative represents 189,000 people. Back then, it was 1 in 50,000. We should have, in Florida, in Tallahassee, we should have 4 times as many representatives as we do. Instead of having 120 representatives, we should have about 432 representatives. On that basis, we'd be represented a lot more efficiently and effectively. So I'd like to encourage you guys to study. I'd like to challenge everybody here tonight to go home tonight, tomorrow, or the next day, go to the internet, look up Bill of Rights, look under the section where it says YouTube videos, learn a little bit more, refresh your memory about the Bill of Rights, which ones there are, which ones are most important. I think obviously one of the questions you should all be able to answer, and that is, what are the 5 guaranteed rights that are guaranteed to we the people in the first article or the First Amendment? How many people? Raise your hand if you know the 5.
Mr. Broders, I'm
Yes.
going to have to cut you off.
Well, you know, I am part of a group, and the group's entitled.
Okay. All right.
Petition.
I'm entitled
Finish
to
up.
speech.
Finish up.
Okay, but I'd like to encourage all of you to go to the internet, do some research on the Bill of Rights. You should. How can we defend our rights if we don't even know what they are? I don't want to. I believe that the commissioners and everybody that votes for the commissioners ought to know what they're voting for, and if the people that they're voting for even know what the rights are, how can you defend something if you don't even know what it is? So anyway, visit websites on the Bill of Rights, take some quizzes, take some tests, watch some videos, and educate yourself, because as long as we remain ignorant, we're going to continue to be led to our destruction.
Thank you, Mr. Broders. We got to move forward to time-specific items. Item number 7 at 5:35 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter can be heard, hold a public hearing to consider the adoption of an ordinance changing the future land use of a parcel of property from conservation to agricultural 1, changing the legal description that was adopted by the Board of County Commissioners on November 4th, 2025. Mr. Meeks.
Do you swear affirm testimony given this cause to be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Mr. Chairman, as with the hearing that occurred in November, I would ask the Board of County Commissioners to let me consider item 7 and 8 together. Item 7 is the future land use amendment, and item 8 is the zoning atlas change. It's for the same property. After the ordinance had been adopted by the County Commission at the November 4th meeting, there was some title work that was done on the property in question, and it was found that the original deed that the owner had from the Water Management District was incorrect. So the Water Management District had to do a corrective deed for that, and the original description that was contained on our ordinance needed to be amended as well. So it is a 29-acre parcel of property that was previously owned by the Water Management District and is now owned privately. And the request would be to change the future land use from conservation to agricultural 1, as well as the zoning atlas from conservation to agricultural 1. So if you don't have any questions of me, I would enter the file into the record with that.
Board, any questions of Mr. Meeks? I'll open the floor to public comment. Anyone wishing to speak on this time? Seeing none, I'll close public comment. Is there any board discussion? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve item number 7? And you said to do item number 8 together, or do
We probably need to be considered as separate motions. You just wanted to present them at the same time.
present them at the same time? So we'll, item number 7.
Mr. Chairman, I offer a motion to approve number 7.
Motion by Commissioner Land, second by Commissioner Mobley. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Item number 8, do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hale, second by Commissioner Land. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. That it, Mr. Meeks?
That's it. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to the consent agenda, I have item number 3 pulled for discussion, so we'll be looking at item 2 and 4 through 6.
Just pull 4.
4, item 4 as well.
They're kind of one.
Yeah, they're kind of the same, yeah.
So we'll be considering item 2, 5, and 6. Is there any discussion or have a motion to approve?
Mr. Chairman, I'll offer a motion to approve items 2, 5, and 6 of the consent agenda.
Motion by Commissioner Land,
Second.
second by Commissioner Hale. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Item number 3, Mr. Land, adoption of Suwannee County rules and regulations for Suwannee County Airport and adoption of an enabling resolution.
Yes, sir. I think, Mr. Chairman, I think items 3 and 4 kind of go together. I probably should have pulled them both, so thank you, Commissioner Hale, for grabbing that one too. And I've already mentioned to Mr. DeHame, the airport manager, that I had some questions, just really for clarification purposes. I don't know anything about aviation whatsoever, so excuse my ignorance, but I just want to make sure that, I mean, this is standard policy, FFA or FAA policy, and there's nothing in here that is abnormal than any other airports or adverse to what we had prior to this year. So if you would just maybe elaborate a little bit on those for me, please, sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. The county had no established rules, procedures for either the private entities or the commercial entities. So this breaks it down into both of those. The rules and regulations apply to more of the private person or private airplane owner, and the commercials will be the minimum standards document. So it just sets forth some guidelines that the county accepts as acceptable practices. So this allows your airport manager to be able to manage both entities appropriately, offering guidance to make sure they're working in the way that we want them to work. So as we grow, which I know you guys are looking for, I mean, the county's growing right now. I'm trying to get the airport to grow along with the county. Both of these documents will help us to grow. They can be edited at appropriate times as we grow. So to start on your first question, there's nothing in these documents that goes against any FAA or state regulations. They are also commensurate with other airports, minimum standards and rules, airport rules and regulations. Do you have any specific
No, I just
questions?
want to, honestly, like my ignorance, I just want to make sure that by us or me agreeing to pass these rules and regulations, is there any type of situation out there that's going on currently that by us adopting these rules, that, in other words, I'm trying to avoid stepping in it? In other words, like I don't know what's going on out of the airport, but if we pass this tonight, is my phone going to be blowing up tomorrow because there's a situation going on out there that now is a really big situation?
Not from a legal or a FAA standpoint. Are there individuals that might have some discrepancies with some of these rules and regulations? I'm not going to say no.
Right.
But that comes with anytime you implement anything like this. But without these guidance, my hands are kind of a little tied because with nothing written in print, if I try to enforce something,
I understand.
It's my word against theirs.
I understand.
And I don't want to, I don't feel I'm doing the county justice if I make up things that are not adopted by the county. So I want to make sure that I'm putting forth what you guys are saying is the way we want to operate.
Yes, sir.
and managing in with respect to that.
Where does this come from?
That was going to be my question, yeah.
Where did you get that? Did you write this yourself, or
I did not come up with this all by myself. I pulled together, I did a lot of research from other airports, and I took pieces that I've felt fit Suwannee County. So there are some things that are from some bigger airports, because I know we're going to go that direction, or hoping to go that direction. But a lot of things are from smaller municipalities, such as ours. A couple are even smaller than ours. But like I said, it's general guidance to keep people on track. That's what I'm looking to do. And if something does happen, I have something to stand behind me to say that I have something to go off.
Commissioner Hale?
Yeah, I was just going to kind of, on the heels of that, I appreciate us having a basis, having something put together like this, a guideline, if you will. But I appreciate you also saying that it may ruffle some feathers out there. And I appreciate this commissioner here asking Mr. Land asking that same question. But I know there's been some discussions of how hangars are used and what they're used for and things of that nature. So I understand the basis of some of this. But again, the question he asked, who put this together? I mean, it's all been looked over. We're legal.
Yes, sir.
We're not pinpointing one particular person. We just have a blanket that covers all.
Yes, sir.
With this. Okay.
And these can be adopted, changes adopted
Yes.
to these rules as needed.
Yes, sir. And it's actually advisable to look at them on a recurrent basis. So every like 3 to 5 years minimum.
I just want to say I like the colors for the logo.
I know you do, sir.
Yeah, that's jam up.
As long as the nose is brown, too.
Any other questions?
No, sir, I'm good.
No, sir.
All righty, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, John.
So item number 3, adoption of Suwannee County Airport rules and regulations for the Suwannee County Airport and adoption of an enabling resolution. Is there anybody want to speak on this from the public while we had it pulled from consent?
Question though, has the attorney looked at it?
Yes, sir. I've done a substantial edit on both.
Thank you. So item number 3, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Land. Second by Commissioner Mobley. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Number 4, adoption of Suwannee County Airport minimum standards for commercial aeronautical activities operating on the Suwannee County Airport and adoption of an enabling resolution. Do I have a motion to approve? Motion by Commissioner Mobley.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Land. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Moving on to constitutional officers. Any constitutional officers? Staff items. Any staff items? Any commissioner items? County attorney.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I've got one item to bring to the board's attention regarding whether or not the board wants to participate in a particular form of FEMA reimbursement programs that may be out there. I was given late last week a series of documents regarding a land purchase type agreement that can be done with FEMA, and the 30,000-foot view of the program is FEMA, or if there's a piece of property that for purposes of disaster preparedness, for example, it's a piece of property that gets flooded all the time, the county or a municipality or a government can come in, purchase that piece of property, demo the buildings that are on it, and then make that real property forever green space. So there will be a series of declarations contained in the grant of the property to that government, a significant amount of restrictions on use, which functionally say that will never be anything ever from now until the end of time. And FEMA will reimburse 75% of that cost. So that's kind of the 30,000-foot view, what the program does. So about 18 months ago, when the storms were coming through, there was a series of, the county had been talking to a series of individuals in Mr. Hale's district who were thinking about participating in this program. And again, looking at it from the kind of the 30,000-foot view, there was discussions between administration at the time and the citizenry about participating in the program. And it was said in a very general way of, FEMA will kick in their 75% and the homeowner is willing to pop in for what would have been the county's 25%, so the county doesn't have to pitch any money in. Everything's wonderful. Well, fast forward to when I got the paperwork, that's where kind of the rubber meets the road, and that plan doesn't really work because it's done in the context of purchasing real property from a citizen. So the FEMA paperwork requires the county to purchase it from the citizen for the fair market value of that real property. And so essentially the county would be obligated to purchase what that property would sell for if available on the open market at an arm's length transaction. So there's no way to do that with the property owner kicking in their 25%, because there's only two ways that could be done. The first would be we agree to pay 75% less than it is, but put the other number on the FEMA application. That's fraud. Or you put the whole amount in there and the property owner kicks it back to you for that 25%. That is also fraud. So it's one of those things that sounds great, but when they actually get into implementation in the context of the actual program, it just can't be done in the context of what that FEMA grant would require. So to be clear, there's no version of this where the county, if we're going to participate in this program, is going to not have to actually come out of pocket for 25% of the land purchase the purchase price of the property at fair market value and 25% of the demo. So because that is kind of fundamentally different than what both the grant writers, administration, and the citizenry thought was going to occur when they were talking about this at the beginning, when I was talking to our folks who were helping write the grant, I said, let's bring this to the county commissioners now before we continue to move forward on processing these type of grants, because if they don't have, if this is not a program they want to participate in, it's better that we let everybody know that we're cutting bait now than continuing to move forward and as if this is a project that's going to go through over what was functionally a misunderstanding as to how this grant would actually be implemented at that time when it was initially thought of. Nobody did anything wrong. It sounded okay from that 30,000-foot view. It's just for implementation that just doesn't work. So I just needed to bring that to the board's attention and ask you guys kind of what you want to do.
So one question, Mr. Morrison. So the property, say it's a flooded piece of property, that fair market value, does that include the house that's on it at fair market value or after it's been flooded value?
So what would that property sell for if you were to go to Pool Realty and he's going to put it on the market? What's it going to sell for? Now, it certainly is going to go for less, right? Because it's built in a bowl and it floods all the time. There's no question about it. But it's going to sell for something. So when you're asking what is fair market value, we're going to have to, the FEMA program very much treats this like, if you all will recall how we had changed the procedures for land acquisition of having to go forward, get appraisals, go talk to the property owners, negotiate with them, get that fair market value. But it's still going to require a writing from a legitimate source as to what that fair market value is going to be. So we're not purchasing it at the demo price of there's a ruined house on there, especially, and I'll be candid, and again, I'm not trying to call out any citizens here, and I'm not trying to embarrass anybody, but it's a house that they're living in, so it's at least habitable in the aftermath of the storms. So, I can't tell you what that number is, because candidly, when I got the applications for this one, the fair market value was, it was literally blank, and I'm like, well, we're not signing it when it's blank, guys. But regardless, I wanted to bring it to the board's attention to see if this was a program that the board wanted to participate in or not. But there's no version of this where the board's not chipping in money, and I cannot tell you how much that's going to be.
Well, I thought the state had a program like Raising Florida or something, Elevating Florida. Would they cover the 25% of that? Do you know, or does anybody
I do not
know?
I'd have to.
There you go.
And
what do other communities do in this situation? I mean, it's a program that they're offering, so
Brenda will tell you, I kind of got tossed this
Elevate.
last minute.
Do I need to say my name? Heather Choi.
Yeah.
Elevate Florida is a program that they started last year, but there was only a small window, and when we put out the information, the homeowner would then have to call, and they did everything through the state, but that program closed several months ago. I believe what the attorney's talking about is they decided to use mitigation money for Debbie to purchase that piece of property. So our hazard mitigation for the HMGP money was set aside just for that piece of property, just for, so you guys know what that was about. So
Yeah.
that was done, well, I didn't find out till after the fact, but I think that was done through the commission in North Florida, yeah. But that was money set aside to apply for.
Right, and so, and Heather's
FEMA
correct, yeah.
piece
So
of it.
the money that was set aside was just, this is just money in reserve, but it's still going to be county money. It's kind of, here's the high end of what it would be, plus an additional, put some more money in, just like we do when we're going to purchase it from somebody, plus, you know, a grant management fee. So it's more set aside than it would cost. So that money is set aside right now, but it's just, again, does the county want to participate in this? Because everybody's understanding that existed at the time is not true.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, that money that we've all been talking about that's out there to get, but you got to do 1,000 things to get it. So it's set aside, but if we don't use it, then it'll roll over to another tier. So if we don't apply for it, then it's money that is not used by the county.
So to say it another way, yes, we'd be forfeiting that 75% that would be available to do it, but the county wouldn't be having to pitch in the 25% that ain't coming back.
Correct.
So is this a one-off deal, one person, or is it open, unlimited?
The Elevate Florida was open to everybody in the state of Florida, but
Or this FEMA thing, is it?
There were multiple people who had talked about it, and I know North Florida's here, but there's only one person who's made it this far in the process. There may be more in the chute. I don't know.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner
Mr.
Lane.
Morrison, I'm kind of confused, but just for clarification, so on a hypothetical, we'll just say the property, I don't even know what the property we're talking about, but this particular property floods
It does.
fairly often. People live in the home right now, so in this program, the property would be appraised for fair market value.
Yes.
The county would initially have to purchase the property for fair market value.
The county would also have to demo.
And the county, in addition to fair market value, the county would have to demo, and the only thing that's reimbursable under this program is 25%.
The 75% of the combined price of the demo and the fair market value. And then the property will be removed from the tax rolls in perpetuity because it'll be owned by the county. And then it'll be, again, they'll have all those deed restrictions that essentially that will be a green piece of property now and forevermore.
So, Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Hill?
could we, obviously, we can't build anything, but could we sell that property
No,
to retain,
no.
to gain?
Wait, and that's the deed restrictions that went with it were 4 pages of single space, but long and short of it, county will own it forever. It will be nothing but green space.
yeah, you can't do anything with it.
I mean, the purpose of it is to avoid continued disasters happening on that property that have to be dealt with, right? That's the purpose behind the program.
Yeah.
So the point is then to remove that from future disaster relief.
And then the process to get your money back after you do all that is going to not be right away. So it's going to take some time for the county to get reimbursed for that process.
Well, what
From
about-
what I understand, if it works the same way as mitigation does.
What about hazardous materials? Or you never know what you're going to find on a piece of property. I mean, they're buried fuel tanks. I mean, they could turn into something huge.
And in theory, it would be,
Yeah.
we're on the hook for 25%
25,
of
yeah.
whatever
Right.
that number is.
But 25% of this versus 25% of a $500,000 cleanup is a whole different deal.
Yes, sir.
So what would be, Mr. Chairman, if you'll-
Commissioner Hill.
Mr. Attorney, what would be in your professional opinion, the right thing for the homeowner to do, because if they were prepared at some point in time to give 25%, but now, obviously, we can't accept that.
So I want to be clear. My job is just to say it's legal or not. Good idea, bad idea. As I always tell people, I do it legal and illegal. The people who do with right and wrong meet on Sunday. But if I had the homeowner in my office, kind of here, the long and short of it is what I would tell them is, if the county's not going to put up the 25, if that's not going to work out, and we have to purchase it at fair market value anyway, so no matter what, you're going to have to go to market, get an idea as to what that fair market value is anyway, then go to fair market, put it on the market, and be willing to discount it 25% and sell it to someone who's willing to buy it, knowing that you're going to have that problem. If the county's not willing to purchase, because remember, we still have to deal in fair market value land, right? So we're not pulling numbers out of our rear end.
I feel for the people that's in this position, but I don't feel that it's every other taxpayer's responsibility to pay for 25% of that problem.
Yep, Mr. Chairman. I don't even know the property. I don't even know the people. I don't even know the people's names. So I'm just speaking in general here. I would agree with you. My concern is like, you know, I hate to say no across the board, but at some point you have to think about, you know, caveat import. You know, buyer's responsibility to do that. Now, if this was a 100-year-old homestead and the person had lived there forever, and this was a situation where the water was rerouted, I mean, it's a whole other liability issue. But to say, I feel like you're going to open the floodgates, and the liability is going to be on the county and every other taxpayer that's sitting over here on the side saying, why are we having to pay for that? And then then you got to tear it down, then you got to turn it into green space. It never comes back on the tax rolls. And once you demo that and declare it, I mean, the property's lost forever. As far as, you know, being able to do anything with other than a field that the county owns.
Mr. Chairman, does that open the door like on other people's houses that got flooded? We're gonna have to do one. You got to do them all.
If they applied to participate in the program, and have gone through, as Ms. Shoy pointed out, I mean, this is one of those FEMA things. So they've jumped through a lot of hoops to get this far. Again, part of me feels bad because when they were talking about this 18 months ago, it was with that 30,000-foot understanding of like, hey, this will all work out. But again, when you get to the rubber meeting the road, you can't do it without, you know, committing federal fraud, and let's not do that.
Well, and you saying that, and I haven't spoke to them recently about it. I didn't know where they were at on the application process, but I knew this was an avenue they were looking to take. But you're right, it didn't say anything about that, or nothing of that was brought up.
Well, because again, you're just thinking about it. They'll be 75%, county get 25%, homeowner's going to kick in the 25%. Great, let's go. I understand what happened, but we are where we are.
Well, I don't want to call them out. I know they're here. If they want to speak to it, I would love for them to, but if they don't want to be called out.
Before she speaks, is this program closed? Has everybody applied that can apply, or is this open-ended where this can just go on and on?
It was designated under Debbie, so like that part of it's closed, but if another storm rolls through, then this is something that would open up again, right?
And if you don't mind, Ms. Vicky, before you say anything, I think you asked the question, what is, just to help me better understand, and my fellow commissioners here, what is the program designed for? I mean, I know it's to help them get out of it, but how does it benefit, say, if we got to pay 25% of that, how does that benefit the community, the rest of the community, and us, the rest of, or someone, whoever knows the application?
Bad government programs get passed all the time. Okay. I mean, okay. I can't tell you what the benefit is. I understand the kind of the macro idea of this is a piece of property that is constantly getting disaster relief. Let's remove it from having to continue to get that type of disaster relief. From that concept, it makes sense.
I see what you're saying there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my name is Vicki Waters, and the property they're talking about is 7251 119th Road, and I do not live there. I had to take money and go buy another piece of property, because you can't just keep throwing away everything you own and just buy more and just keep doing that and mentally stay sane. You can't do it. It doesn't only flood when there is a storm. If it rains for a few days, I have pictures. It comes all the way up to because it comes in, it fills up the back of my house, back of the yard first, and comes forward. And it will get all the way, halfway across my yard, if not further. It's just, it's a potential, it needs to be made a retention pond, that piece of property. Because all the rainwaters from down the street come down and go up underneath the road and come between my house and my next door neighbor's house. And the water just floods back there. It's like you can hear it. It's like a rushing water. All the water from across the street, there's a subdivision, comes across the street onto my property.
How long have you owned that?
30 years.
And this is, and I'm not an engineer, but you did say something about that. It's because I feel the growth and the things that are going on around it. I don't remember it flooding before. I mean, I just don't. It's not far from.
Now, I would, when we first built our house there in '95, up until a certain point, yeah, it would get a little wet in the driveway and stuff, but after they built the subdivision across the street, at some point they put a culvert under the road that directed all the water onto my property. And if you would like to see videos and pictures, I have all of those. There's no winning. I can probably survive what falls from the sky, but I cannot survive the whole neighborhood's water coming on top of me.
How describe what you got there. How much land?
There's 2 acres in a brick home that we built 30 years ago. But there's just, it's just a fight. It's a fight. And like I said, I can show you, I have videos of the water coming down the street, up underneath the road, and right there on my property.
And we have made some attempts to try to help with that over the years, but as
Don
growth
Hale has been
happens-
out there and seen it when it's doing all of that.
Yep.
It's,
My only concern, and I'm sorry for what you got, but if we do this, and there's probably a lot more places in the county, I'm sure, because I know I got some in my district that same things happen to. Maybe they haven't applied, maybe they have, I don't know. But you kind of open the floodgates, and as long as it was FEMA paying for all of it, yeah, I was good with it. But now he's saying the county's got to pony up the 25% of fair market value. So you're talking about a brick home and 2 acres there. I don't know, guessing what fair market value might be, maybe $300,000. You know what I mean? So that's a lot of money to the county to pay that 25%.
well, and also, I don't like throwing blame, but the county is responsible for part of that because they're the ones that put the culvert under the road that directs all the water on top of it.
Well, without doing some research, I
And
wouldn't
I
have
don't
any
know
idea on that.
why and who approved that, but that's not fair either, to make one person take on everybody's water.
There is
And you're just a sitting duck
manhole and a
waiting.
culvert there. There's a manhole and a culvert that runs underneath the road, and she's not lying. It literally puts it right on her property.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Land.
So this is, I'm not familiar with Commissioner Hale's district, but I'm looking at my phone here on Mr. Gamble's website. The 119th is directly across the street from Lime Avenue, right? Nobles Ferry. Okay.
Goes back to your Daniels duplex back there.
I see it. Yeah, and your house is down there on the left.
Yes.
And the water, sorry, Mr. Chairman, the water that you're saying is coming to you is coming off of 72nd Pass? That's the street across the road?
Part of it comes from there, and the other comes down the ditch across the street, like where the water will come down the ditch and go up underneath the road right on top of me. Plus, I take on all of that water, because nothing goes through that retention pond, nothing.
Oh, at the 72nd Street.
Yeah.
So you've moved out? You don't live there anymore?
No.
It's ruined it.
How many times has it been flooded?
Twice. One time, the first time with Debbie, it was up over the countertops in the kitchen. The second time, it was just up under. But it like seriously floods.
Debbie, the last Debbie we had, or the
Yes.
first Debbie we had?
Both. I flooded with both Debbies.
Debbie don't like you.
I know. And I heard there's another Debbie coming up, so I couldn't stay there. But it's not, like I said, if it rains for more than a couple days, I've taken on all that water, and it will come up, like up to more than halfway my backyard. I mean, it just keeps filling.
It flows
Do you
from
need a
the south.
decision on this tonight?
Kind of, because the problem is I got the paperwork late last week, and they how about this? I mean, it's not going to come before the board. I could probably put that off till the first meeting in January, but paperwork's kind of due under DEM.
Tori Humphreys, North Florida Professional Services. So when these RFIs start, and Brenda can even say, they give you a quick turnaround. You get an email, they ask for their response back in 5 days or 6 days. It's not it's a continual RFI process. I don't know how many Brenda has been answering, but Hunter in our office has been assisting her when needed so that she can keep this process rolling. The deadline given was for tomorrow. I think we received it last Wednesday, so that's the turnaround they have. However, we can say you are able to tell them you need more time, so we can ask for an extension. We can do all of that, and but the RFIs are ramping up, so Brenda's steadily responding to them, and Hunter's been helping her, and this is the one where they send you the blanket documents and tell you to have your commission sign them. But
And you said you got...
I don't think it's a problem if you wait. I know why Adam brought it up, because it does say December 17th, but we're not doing this program in other areas, but working with FDM and other areas on other types of things, and we're able to ask for extensions. And it's also the holidays, so we can use that.
Well, I just think it's unfair to the board to have to make a quick decision like that when the rules have been changed as far as what we understood.
From the beginning.
Yeah, and so, I'd like to take a look at that and see what's that actually going to cost the county. And you said how many more applying? Or?
No, so I think Brenda started with 8. Started with 8 parcels, 6 parcels, okay. So when we started that process with 6 parcels for the county and started speaking to them and talking to them, and those owners realized how much work it was on their part, because Miss Vicki definitely did her heavy lift and got all of her documentation and everything else. They opted out. They did not want to follow through. They didn't want, she's had to provide just all kinds of documentation so that it could be submitted. So she's done her part, and she did all of that. But those other parcel owners that Don had given to Miss Brenda and they brought to us, they did not follow through with all of theirs.
So we just got hers.
You just have hers. That I'm aware of. Brenda may know more.
That's all, and the time is closed to adding.
So this is just it. This is it.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Lamb.
I would agree with you about us having to make a quick decision tonight when it's kind of all got thrown on us right here. But I've done some quick math here, and Mr. Gamble has the appraised value, which we all know that those are usually low, but his number is $214,790 on the property. So, I mean, I would easily say probably 275 on a fair market value easily, if not maybe a little more. But 275, 25% of that, you're talking about 68,000 bucks, 750, 68,000. If it costs 15,000 to demo and haul off, 25, I mean, you're talking about $73,000 at the 25% that the county would be left. And I don't know how long, what the timeline is on the reimbursement side from FEMA. Are we talking about 6 months we get our $300K back? Or are we talking about, I was being sarcastic, are we talking about 3 years? You know, so you're going to be out six figures for a couple years, 3 years. And I hate it for Ms. Waters. I don't know what to do, but it's hard to make a decision off the cuff tonight when you're talking about those kind of numbers.
Can we, I don't disagree with you guys having more time. Can we do that and maybe see if there's any other avenues out there, Ms. Brenda, or any other for that 25%?
I've read the doc. I don't mean to.
Nothing?
The document. The government unit is paying that 25%. Period. So, and you have to, like, it's like every other grant. You're covering the 100% and getting reimbursed for the 75. And that's why we ran into the issue, because again, I was trying to think of a way to work with her on, is there a way to make it so that she can pop in for the, it's just in this context, that just doesn't work with what you're going to have to swear to under oath to all this FEMA stuff. So if I may, Mr. Chairman, in terms of presently dealing with it, do we just want to reset it as a general business item for the next agenda meeting?
I think so.
Okay.
We're going to do a little more research.
We're going to do a little more research.
Okay.
Not saying yes, not saying no, just this is kind of quick for us, not knowing that. So if you will, just be patient with us. We'll look at it. We'll have it back on the next meeting.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Add something real quick. I can check with FDM and see if they're doing a match waiver for the 25, was be 12.5%. I know they're doing it for Idalia, which you guys are going to sign tonight, and we've done it for Helene, but I have not been told that we're doing it for Debbie. So I know we've submitted it for Helene, but I can find out if that helps you.
Yeah, that would help.
And I can try to get that answer to you by the end of the week if I can.
That'd be great.
Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you.
So we'll bring it back on the next meeting, Ms. Waters.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other attorney items?
No, sir.
Any consultants? General business. Item number 9, discuss with possible board action findings of the Florida Association of County Managers' final report for the Suwannee County Administrator search. And what I'm going to do is read this, and then I'll give the public time to comment, and then we'll move on from there. The county procured the Florida Association of County Managers, FACM, to aid us in a search for a new county administrator since the retirement of Greg Scott. The FACM committee consisted of 3 county managers or administrators. They received input from the commissioners and county staff about what qualities we were looking for in a new county administrator. Other than taking the initial thoughts from commissioners and staff, the FACM committee acted completely independent of the county in their rankings of 6 applicants. The FACM committee had multiple options for their recommendations. They could have found that 2 or more of the candidates were equally or closely qualified and turned it over to the county to interview and make it a selection. Instead, the FACM committee found that the interim county administrator, Jason Fury, was the clear top choice for the position. Given this board's familiarity with Mr. Fury, I do not believe there is any need to conduct an interview or otherwise prolong the hiring process. I do not believe that the county administrator should continue to serve as the public works director. This reduction in responsibility will be part of any negotiation. I'm asking the board to permit me to enter negotiations on behalf of the county, Mr. Fury, for the position of county administrator. Ultimately, the negotiated contract will be brought before the board for approval. Does anybody from the public wish to speak on that?
Yes. Moses Klepper, 14581 102nd Pad, Live Oak, representing we the people of North Central Florida. I did some investigating on the Florida Association of County Managers, those three on board. There's some left-leaning members on that group, in that group. When it was first announced that this was going to be done, the initial knee jerk from me, and then it was also that some of us figured that the search was a preemptive action for damage control for the board, and we knew Mr. Furry would be it. It was real obvious, anybody watching, paying attention, and I don't know anybody that's dead set against him taking that position, but he was groomed. Mr. Scott, I should just read what I wrote. Let's see. When we went through the applications, we saw at least one other applicant, and actually that commander, no question that he's maybe overqualified and should be considered. There's no doubt that if we keep doing what we've been doing, we're going to keep getting what we've been getting, which is not necessarily in the best interest of the taxpayers of Suwannee County. Mr. Scott and Mr. Furry failed to oversee the operation of Suwannee County water utilities and allowed it to become non-compliant with the FDEP, and they allowed permits to lapse. As I understand it, no one was even overseeing the utilities. Also, the most recent concern is over the leachate tanks and how Mr. Furry knowingly chose not to follow the county purchasing policy and knowingly misled the board and the public. Also, Mr. Furry did not interfere with the facilities manager attempting to push through an extremely overpriced repair on the courthouse dome. The actions taken in many places of employment with what occurred with the leachate tank and policy violation would be grounds for termination and definitely not justification for a salary increase, which I know is fixing to come. Minimally, these actions point out areas of concern and reasons not to trust. As far as a pay increase for the incoming administrator, I'd like to start out with an overview of Mr. Furry's salary history. In October of 2021, his base salary was $67,000 a year. In December of 22, he was receiving $71,000. Later in December of 22, he was given a $34,000 increase, or a 48% increase for him taking over the parks director. In October 2023, he was receiving $107,000 a year. In November of 23, it was increased to $109,000. In May of 2025, when he became assistant and intern, he was increased to $124,000. Currently, he is at $126,000 a year. In 4 years, Mr. Scott increased Jason Furry's salary $59,000 a year, which is an 88% increase, or an average of 22% increase each year in his salary. And y'all stood by and let this happen. In December of 2022, the nearly 50% increase was extreme. Also, the $15,000 increase in May of 2025 is when he took over the responsibilities as administrator. There is no change in duties or responsibilities that justifies any increase for this position. In fact, it was stated and agreed to by the board that if Mr. Scott was relieved of his public works authority, his pay would go down to $125,000 a year. And Mr. Scott arguably is much more experienced and been with the county longer. So it's not apples to apples. I put the responsibility and out of control pay increases for the few elite county employees on the backs of the BOCC. Not only did y'all not monitor Mr. Scott increasing the taxpayers' burden by well over $1 million in a year in less than 4-year period, y'all allowed him to increase Mr. Furry's salary by almost $60,000 in 4 years, or an average of approximately $15,000 a year increase over the last 4 years. Even to consider increasing his salary in any amount would be once again a dereliction of duty and a total irresponsible decision by this board. There is no justification for a pay increase for Mr. Furry. You mentioned that, Mr. Chairman, that y'all want to, or at least you do, want to separate those two, separate out the public works. If you look at where if Mr. Scott was sitting still there, what was agreed to way back was $125 for Mr. Scott. A lot more experience with Mr. Scott. And also, has the board utilized Evergreen's solution to Mr. Williamson's study to set pay grades and salary caps?
Mr. Hancock?
Wow. Bo Hancock, 6135 Wiggins Road. I'm here to support Jason. Yeah, I think he has the best interest of Suwannee County at heart. Now, has he had increases along with a promotion? Yeah. Damn, that's normal business practices. When you promote someone, they get more money. Wow. Nothing exciting there. Mr. Scott's gone. He took the job. There was the agreement. Things change. You haven't split them yet. That's going to require advertising and everything else to get another job or another position. Now, that's fine with me. It's going to cost taxpayers more money. Everybody ought to realize that, because now you have another position you're going to have to fund. But Mr. Furry has the best interest at heart. I support him. I've worked with him before in the past. I worked with Greg. I think he's a good man. He's been a long-time county employee. Most businesses, when they're promoting, they want to promote from within, not without. So I think to me, y'all are beating a dead horse. I think the decision needs to be made. Let the chairman negotiate and see what happens. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bowe.
Thank you, Mr. Hancock.
Harry K. Weaver, Jr., Suwannee County citizen, 65 years. Once again, I can't disagree with Mr. Furry, with Mr. Hancock. I've known this gentleman for a long time. I don't ordinarily like going from within, because I worked for a large bureaucracy in the state that historically hires from within for the top. But in Mr. Furry's case, he's an excellent choice. He'll do a good job for this county, the citizenry, for the commission. He's responsible. He's got integrity, morality, and that's what we need. Thank you for making him number one.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Well, I'm just going to say I've got complete confidence in Mr. Fury to do the job. I've watched him work so far. And, Mr. Hancock, did you want to say something?
I seen him stand up.
You're going to have to jump a little quicker.
Thank you. Wayne Haneke, 11883 93rd Road, Live Oak. I challenge anyone. The only negative thing I heard up here all night was, well, he made a mistake. And you know what? There's not a whole lot of people that'll stand up and say, I made a mistake, and I will find a way to fix it. So if anybody's in this room that's never made a mistake in their lives, you should get up and leave now. Because, man, you're doing way better than anybody else I know. I really think Mr. Fury is the right choice. I'm one of those people, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And obviously, he's taken over some big shoes to fill and done well to this point. You at least know what you have. And I really think he is the absolute number one choice. And thank you.
Thank you. Well, as I was going to say, I've been watching him since he's took over for Mr. Scott, and he's there early, he stays late, and he's really organized, and he does have this county in his heart, and that makes a big difference to me too. So I have all the confidence in him. And as far as what pay raises he's got, yeah, he's had a couple of promotions, and I think he deserved those promotions and the pay that went with them, and I don't have a problem with that. And from what I've heard from what other county administrators have been hired here for lately, you're getting a pretty good deal. So I'll just let my comments go at that. Board members, do you have anything?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I just want a couple things. Number one, I want the record to reflect that the Admiral that was spoken about earlier submitted an email earlier this week, and we withdrew his application, so he's no longer an option. And I've said this before, you know, the picture depends on the painter. I can sit up here and paint any picture that I want, but if I leave out material facts, I mean, I wrote down $59,000 worth of pay increases, which is 88% over a 3 or 4 year period, but we didn't hear any of the facts that those were promotions and additional job security. So I can sit here and paint you any type of picture and throw a bunch of numbers at you that makes it sound like you're doing a terrible job and I'm doing a great job, or you're doing a great job and I'm doing a bad job. But if I leave out the facts along the way and not tell you the whole story, it's a skewed picture. So I'm not going to engage in conversation about that. But what I'd say about Mr. Furry is number one, we picked fact to be unbiased and took that process out of our hand, and through that process he was still the number one choice. So what that tells me is his resume stacks up above everybody else's. But what it doesn't say in that fact report, and what we don't know, is a man's character. I can interview Commissioner Hale if I didn't know him, call him up from whatever town he lived in, but the only way I'm going to know Commissioner Hale's true character is by personal experiences with him, knowing him over 1 year, 2 year, 10 years, 15 years. And where I'm going with that is I know Mr. Furry's character. His resume stacks up above all the rest of them based on what those folks told us, and I'm 100% confident he's the right guy for the job, and I'm in support of you, Mr. Chairman. And, you know, I don't want to get into a 5v1 contract negotiation here tonight, because I don't think that'll get anywhere. So I would say, as we have done in the past, let the chairman iron out all the little wrinkles and bring something back to the board, hopefully at the next meeting 2 weeks from today, for us to approve Mr. Furry as our next county administrator.
I'll just, Mr. Chairman, I don't disagree with anything you guys have said. I do want to thank FACT for doing this for us. I think, like you said, Commissioner Land, that took the bias out of it, and he's still stacked up way above any other candidates. So I think that speaks volumes. I think also the fact that, you know, like you were pointing out, with those promotions, with those pay increases, comes extra responsibilities and extra headaches and extra phone calls from me and things of that nature. So, but I appreciate all of it, and I appreciate the work you've done, and I'm ready for you to start negotiating with him, Mr. Chairman. So, woohoo! There you go.
Mr. Mama.
I do too. I think he's very capable. I think he'll do a fine job, and I'd like to offer a motion, if you'd like to, for you to negotiate the contract with Mr. Furry.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mobley, and this is to accept Mr. Fury as administrator and for me to negotiate the terms of his contract. Is
Mr.
that
Chairman,
correct?
no, sir. It'd be
Two separate motions?
No, it would be a motion because he's the number one candidate to go ahead and enter into negotiations with the number one candidate. If negotiations should fail with the number one candidate, then we'll move down the list. So right now, it's just authorizing you to enter in negotiations with the number one candidate.
As the attorney stated. Second.
Is Commissioner Mobley good with that, as the attorney stated?
You good with that?
Okay. Second.
Plus, he's got a good, funny name to pick on in the end there, Mr. Fury. All in favor, aye? Aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 4-0. Also, at this time, while we're on the subject of the Public Works Director, could we maybe put, we have Miss Brenda Flanagan that's been handling that process for a good while now as an interim Public Works Director until such time as we can internally advertise that position amongst all employees.
Yes, sir. Interim until we do the process.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
You need that in a motion, sir?
Is that a motion?
Yes, sir. I'll make that as the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Land to accept Ms. Brenda Flanagan as an interim Public Works Director.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hale. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Congratulations. Or maybe not. I don't know. Additional agenda items. I think we have one here, two. Approval of agreement number SA 54222 with the State of Florida Division of Emergency Management for waiver of local match requirements for public assistance for Hurricane Idalia. I think that's what Heather was just talking about, wasn't it?
It is, yes.
Is there any discussion or a motion to approve?
I'll offer a motion. I just asked Mr. Fury to please work with Heather and see if that will apply to this other. Please.
Motion by Commissioner Hale to approve.
Mr. Chairman.
So, go ahead.
I recognize his motion, but a question.
Okay.
Mr. Furry, this is, it says here consideration, this is a grant to pay for the 25% match requirement for public assistance funds received from FEMA. Can you explain that? Dumb it down for me.
I cannot, but I would love to bring Miss Brenda up to explain that to us.
So basically, this is saying that
Brenda.
you don't have to pay the 25%.
You got to do the podium. Yes, ma'am. It's all public record now.
This agreement covers what you would normally have to pay, the 25%. So this agreement is with FDM, and FDM will pay the 25% for you.
Right.
So this saves us money.
With that, I'd second Commissioner Hale's. I just wanted to be clear.
No, that's fine. Second by Commissioner Land. Any further discussion? Or do I have, or all in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Item number 2, discuss with possible board action purchase order agreement 2 with Lutheran Services Florida Incorporated, DBA LSF Systems for core settlement funds. Chief Miller.
Good evening, Commissioners. Okay, a few meetings ago, I gave you a presentation on the core funding that's available for us that we can use to expand our community paramedic program. And you tasked me to come back with some solutions, some ideas of how we were going to continue that funding past year 3 through the rest of the funding. So I have a list of different ideas or different options out there that we're going to be doing. So we have the opioid reimbursement grant, which we've already been doing, which covers the current community paramedic program. There's still 15 years of funding on that. The core funding is what we're talking about now. It's $468,000. That's for the 5 positions that we're asking for to use to expand the program. And then the current funding, the way it's set up, we 400 and some this year, 300 and some next year. What we don't use rolls over. It's going to cover us through about the first 3 years and then continue at about $195,000 for a year for 15 more years after that. So that's where we really need to have something in place to continue to fund the positions. So some of the things we're going to be looking at doing is getting telehealth physician contracts. And what that would be is contracts between the county and fire rescue and the different physician groups to allow us to go out and do some of their home health for them, some of their telehealth, keep them from calling 911, keep them from being readmitted into the ER system and the hospital system. You can set up grant or contracts with them where they give us a fund, a certain amount of money every month to do that for them. Currently, House Bill 1154 and Senate Bill 726 were introduced into Congress, and this is being pushed by 13 states, Minnesota being one of the largest. And this probably will get approved, but what it's asking for is it's going to allow community paramedic programs, mobile integrated health programs to be able to bill insurance companies for the services that we're providing right now where we can't collect. When Lieutenant Taylor goes out and her crews go out and they do things in the home and they help with do evaluations, stuff like that, we don't collect anything for that. This will then allow us, through our billing company, to fill out a report, file it, and get us some Medicare money and insurance money. There's other grant opportunities. We have the SAMHSA opioid mental health grants that are out there we'll be applying for. There's another fall prevention, House Bill 5575, and once that's approved, it is specifically for fire departments to apply for, and it allows for fall risk mitigation in seniors. So it'll be another funding stream that we can go after. And then interfacility transfers, we can look at contracts like that again with the Suwannee ER to Lake City for this specific group of workers to handle. So there's plenty of options for the future funding past that year 3. My plan is to basically task that division. Hey, this is your division. You need to really work hard on securing these additional funds. So kind of puts the ball in their court a little bit. You come up with the funding, or you might lose your job, to be blunt. So I hope that answers what the board was looking for in our plan to continue the funding. So any questions? I actually brought Lieutenant Taylor tonight if you have any specific questions for her or the community paramedics.
So how's it been going?
I'm happy to have a little bit of help now. So the first year and a half, it was just me, and this is a very large county. The first year, we saw over 200 patients, or I saw over 200 patients. This year, we're creeping up. We'll be over 450 this year, and I expect that to double again next year. I worked on an ambulance for 15 years, and there's plenty of lives that I helped save. But I can tell you, doing this, you really see the change in people's lives. I'm trying not to cry. Just in the last month, I've had 2 people cry to me of just how much it means to them for us to be there. And last Friday, somebody say, "You saved my life." An alcoholic that, was on a 4-week bender that was at the end, So you see the difference now where on the ambulance for 15 years you dropped them off and you may or may not hear how that patient did. On a day-to-day basis, you see it now. So I expect this to grow. We're seeing almost 500 patients this year without advertising. So once it starts advertising and we start picking up contracts, I've been holding the door shut, to be honest, of how many people in this county need it. I think with this funding, we're going to be able to expand and do a lot more for a lot of people in this county.
Is it all drug and alcohol?
No, it's not.
What?
It's a lot of your seniors. We have a lot of people that don't have transportation. That's where a telehealth comes into, not just the readmits to the hospital, which obviously the physicians get dinged on that. But we have a lot of people that don't have transportation in this county. And yes, we have Suwannee Transit, but they got to be 3 days out. And there's so many times that they're not able to take them because of the time limit. Being able to go to their house and get them treatment. I've gone into pharmacies and picked up people's medications because they can't go get them. Mental health patients that have tried to commit suicide, they don't have their meds, and we will go pick them up and take them to their house. So I have gone and changed batteries for people to be able to go to their primary care. On a day-to-day basis, I don't know what call is going to come in. It could be anything from we don't have power, we don't have food, you know, I just need my battery changed to go to my primary care. I mean, every day it's something different. Yes, this is opioid funding, but we have opioid issues in this county, yes, but there's a lot of other drugs. We have meth, alcohol, mental health issues in this county are terrible. There's a lot of people that aren't getting their medications or aren't able to make it to therapists. So we're trying to work with Meridian, we're trying to work with other places to get these people where they need to be. When we talk about the mobile integrated health, I'm just the centerpiece. I'm pulling the Economic Council, the Health Department. We want to start working with the Health Department too. I talked to them the other day about doing some home vaccinations for some of these people that can't make it to the Health Department to get their vaccinations. We can work with the Health Department about getting those on our trucks and doing those vaccinations as well. Also, with this funding, we'll start medicated assistance. So sometimes people, they've decided they want to be off the drugs, but there's a gap between them getting into medicated assistance with Meridian or some other facility. Well, we're able to go give them the Suboxone and get them in between that gap so we continue them into getting help. Because most drug addicts, if you go and they say, I want help today, and they don't get it today, 2 days from now, they're not going to wait on you to bring them Suboxone. They're just going to go back on the street and continue doing drugs. So we're trying to stop that cycle and get them help and get them where they need to be.
Are you seeing results?
Yes. The one last Friday was an example of that. He's clean, doing great. So.
And she touched on it earlier about, yes, it's opioid funding, but her division is just pretty much a community services division. They do everything. So,
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Hill.
Do we notice, and forgive me for this, but you said something about transportation there, and again, that's something myself and Commissioner Mobley sit on that board. And if there's something we need to do, or someone's chain we need to pull to have more of a opportunity for those folks, we will do that. But my other question is, do we know, does Columbia County have a program like this as well?
They do.
Okay, how about Hamilton County?
Hamilton does have one. Mayo, Lafayette, they use their money to put on an additional truck.
So the reason I ask this is that Transit Authority represents those 3 counties.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no reason they shouldn't be able to get someone to your services or whatever you've set up for them. So we'll do our part on that part as well.
And I'm finding out things daily. Like when I started this, I had no one to learn from. We were starting from scratch, and I've had to build this from nothing. So every day I'm learning, okay, this person will do this person will do a ramp, this person will do, learning that there's certain insurances that, you know, I can avoid the Suwannee Transit route if the times aren't fitting. Okay, I'll contact your insurance and I'll get them a ride through their insurance for their primary care. Whatever we got to do to try to make those avenues work, we do.
And those televisits, that's a great idea as well.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
yeah, and these funds and these positions will allow her to do more of that administrative stuff. We're working with the Transit Authority to come up with why is this not working? What can we do better to make it work for everybody? So,
Okay. Well, I appreciate it.
Anybody else?
Oh, sir, thank y'all.
okay.
Thank you very much.
Again, so yeah, in the motion that I would ask for is the approval to sign the agreement, and let me work with Keith at Finance to create those 5 positions with these funds. Appreciate it.
Any further discussion, or do I have a motion to approve?
Mr. Chairman, I'd offer a motion to approve contingent on the county attorney's approval.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Land, based on county attorney approval. Second by Commissioner Hale. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. I've got a thing here from the clerk. Is that just something I'm supposed to read, or is this, it's just, do I need to read it for the public, or is it just for us?
You can if you want. It was an update from Ms. Vicki with the
House cleaning
clerk's
stuff.
office. You know, with the transition of our IT and utilizing the clerk staff, they've been busy. They've been spending a lot of money, and they've making a lot of improvements. But
Looks like they're saving some money from what I'm reading.
They are.
She's shaking her head no back there, like, no. I don't think she wants to be put on the spot.
You don't want me to read it? Well, it is good news. That's why I want to read it.
I like how she puts in here, this was not an easy task.
But I'll just read it to you guys. Since stepping back in for our clerk's office, IT, to head up the BOCC admin and other departments, we felt it would be a good time to give you a report of where we are and where we're going. After upgrading the fiber between the downtown buildings, we have pulled the building admin internet connection to our dark fiber, saving us $600 a month. We are currently working with Rapid Fiber to replace the internet provider out at the Road Public Works building. That move will take our monthly bill from $1,500 to $700 with 10 times the bandwidth. We have completed working with the contractor that the BOCC had for networking assistance. William Carrier has taken over that role. That will save us just over $27,000 plus a year. Have the official quote back for the main virtual server cluster. It came in under budget by about 80 grand. One of the 3 should be delivered this week. The other 2 will be in just after Christmas. The servers that were in the back of the building department have been relocated to the clerk server room in the courthouse. There is generator and independent air conditioning securing that environment. We have cleaned out the previous employee's office, disposed of the carcasses of the old equipment, cannibalized them, took about 100 devices off the inventory. Worked with Suwannee County Fire Rescue Department, have deployed all but one of their mobile devices. Worked with Windstream to iron out the voice over IP phone issues, continuing to ensure the different departments have the setup that works for them. This was not an easy task. Implemented a more secure stance with the email domain, looking into taking the BOCC email to a higher level of license for additional security. Merry Christmas to you all and Happy New Year. Suwannee County Clerk of Courts, Vicki Schneff. Does that say that right?
You said it perfect.
Great. How about that?
Done well.
Thank you for all you do. With that, we'll move on to administrators' comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you guys for your vote of confidence and your words tonight. I'm proud of my service to the county and look forward to continuing to serve in a different manner. So look forward to working with the board and the public as well. And just again, thank you for the opportunity. And thank Ms. Vicki too. Her staff has been great to work with. The clerk, they're over there. I think they like to get out of that office because we call them and they run across the street and they're in our office immediately. So I don't know what they're trying to get away from, but they've been very helpful. So I just have a couple quick updates. Nothing major tonight. The hay lease will go live tomorrow. That'll be out to bid for the Summit property, the hayfield lease, and then also the contractor for the wastewater treatment plant will be rebid, and that'll be live again tomorrow. January 20th, I think, is the close date on both of those projects. So we'll have some more information at the end of January on the treatment plant. The design build projects, we started getting underway with those, moving a little bit of dirt around. We're still waiting on the building permits from the city, but we got our site permits, so they're starting work on those locations as well. And the livestock building you approved tonight, so that and the courthouse dome will go out in January after the holiday. Get that bid out to the public and see if we can get some interest in those projects. So just a quick update. Any questions you have on anything? Any of those or any other projects, I'll be glad to answer.
Nope, I'm good. Anybody else? Did I start on you, Commissioner Land, last time? Yes, sir. Commissioner Mobley.
Merry Christmas, everybody, and Happy New Year. Have a safe ride home. Good seeing you overnight.
He's so thorough. He gives such a good speech.
Oh, keep people waiting, man. They're ready to leave.
No, I just say great job to the clerk's IT department. I mean, that was a decision the board made to consolidate those, and I think it turns out to be a great financial decision and headed in a good direction there. So thank you, Ms. Vicki. I just ask the public and the board to continue to keep the Perkins family in your prayers. And then just Merry Christmas to everyone. And remember the reason for the season. It's not Santa Claus.
Amen.
That's it. Amen. Just Merry Christmas. Thank everybody for being here and appreciate this board. I tell you, we say it from time to time. It's just not going to be the same without Mr. Perkins, I'm telling y'all. Not a minute or day goes by I don't think about that gentleman, but I do continue to pray for his family and everyone here. Merry Christmas.
Mr. Fury, we will fire you if you don't do right. So I just want you to know that. So all y'all think he got a free ride, but he ain't. We will fire him if he don't do right. Congratulations. Glad to have you at Public Works, which you've been there anyway, but officially. And thanks to all y'all for coming. Appreciate the county staff and everybody that makes the wheels turn. We really do appreciate it. Thank you, Miss Vicki, for saving us that money. We appreciate that and all the work you do. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I just need a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hale, second by Commissioner Land. All in favor, aye. Aye.